Hello, I'm here to show you how to use hardcore questing mode, how to use it as a player, but also how to use it as a map maker. So if you're a map maker and want to make quests, then you can stick around to the end where I'll explain how that works, or well, the second half at least. So one thing worth noting is if you go and grab this mod and install it and so on, and load it up and expects to start to play with it, then that's not going to work because, well, you have some things here, but the quest book is completely empty. Because this mod on its own is not going to do anything. It's more like a tool for map makers. They can design quests and they can use, well, get a config file that they can then export with the map, and then, well, you can use it as a player, so you can play those quests. But yeah, let's take a look on some real quests, shall we? So I'm just going to exit out there, and now I'm in the map called Agrarian Skies by Jaded. This house designed by Morvelaira, and well, since in this map, well, the map maker Jaded has already designed the quests, we actually have some proper quests.
10 years.
And wouldn't you
Code wizards
know?
meddled in the balance
So-
of nature and
So that was Sacheverell reading the basic lore. So the first time you open the book, you will hear, well, you could hear, if you as a map maker have added that, you will hear someone reading the lore here from the very first page. You can also see an icon here. If you're a map maker, stick around, I'll show you how to add that. So this is the front page where you're greeted, which looks much better than the one we saw in the empty book. And also, if I click here to start, by the way, you can click here if you want to listen to the voice again. If you click here, you can actually see something. Here we have 7 different sets of quests. 3 of them unlocked, 4 of them locked. And if we click on one, we can see its description and some information about it. And if we click open, hello creeper, we can see the different quests. So all of these are different quests, and they have icons here saying pretty much what they are doing. We have 2 unlocked, one in the beginning and one using the book. So I'm going to play through this little tutorial, not made by us as developers, but this is, well, part of the quest made by the map maker, in this case Jaded. So I'm just going to play through her tutorial here very quickly. So we click on that one, and here's a short description. We can scroll through it. It basically tells you how to use things. It's going to talk about this crafting task, and this crafting task is going to tell us to craft some wooden planks. So let's do that. I have some oak wood, and now I just crafted some wooden planks. I just needed to craft 1, I crafted 4, so I should have completed that, which I have 100% completed like so. And now everything turned green. If we go back you do by right clicking, by the way, we can see that this has an unclaimed reward. If we go back even further, we can say that it says 1 quest with unclaimed rewards, which means that, well, we haven't claimed rewards for 1 quest, so you don't miss out on the rewards. It also says 4% completed because we have completed 1 quest out of 24. So let's go back in here, claim the reward, and we just received the apple, as you can see. I already had an apple there since previously, but I got the apple like so. And now we can head over to the other one. So here we have another type of task, which we can read on about here, but I'm going to explain it to you. It's a consume task, which means that we need to hand in the items to the book, and then they, well, we don't get them anymore. We have to give it to the book, and you can use this to tell the user to give you tons of items. Maybe at the end stage of the map, where you have to give, well, the quest book a lot of items to show you that you have the infrastructure to do that, or something along those lines. So what I want to do now is just hit manual submit. What that's going to do is it's going to look in my inventory and see if I have 1 wooden plank, and if so, it's going to take that from me and give it to the book. I have 24 at the moment. Manual submit. Now I have 23. And there we go. I just completed that quest, so let's claim the reward. This time I got a quest delivery system and a normal vanilla hopper. I'm going to use them for this final quest called the QDS, which is short for the quest delivery system. Right, so how do I use this? Well, I put it down, like so. Since I'm creative, I'm going to keep it anyways. And then I can move items into it, or fluids for that matter. So if you have a consume task, a task where you have to give away the items, you can do it through the quest delivery system. So now if we put things in here, it's not going to count it right away, we have one more step. But if you put items here now, they're going to go into this delivery system and disappear. However, if I click select task, I'm going to select this task here in the book, and then I right click, and there we go. So you bound the QDS to the QDS, QDSception there, but now it's bound there, which means that anything going in here is going to count as it goes to that quest. I gave it an apple. It disappeared because, we don't need an apple there, so don't give it things you don't want to give away. But what we want to give it is actually a piece of wood, because, planks. That was what it was asking for, and boom, now it's completed, as you can tell there. However, this quest was built up of multiple tasks. You can have more than just 2 if you want to. This quest has 2. Scroll bars, as always, if there are too many. And if I click here, so basically it wants the hopper back, because, we got that just to show how it works. And what we could do is just pick it up and hit manual submit, but I'm going to select it here as well. Since I'm in creative mode, I have an extra one and mark it there, because what I want to show you is one thing you could do later on, and that's if you grab a comparator. So now, since I have selected a quest, it's going to output a redstone signal. However, as soon as we complete the quest, it's not going to output a redstone signal anymore, like that. So that's just a nice feature if you want it to stop, because if you are supposed to give it 10 cobblestone and you give it 100, it's going to consume them all. However, you can use this redstone signal to stop the hopper, if you would like to. So that's pretty much it. We have one more thing to do playing-wise, and that is, if I claim this reward, we can see 2 weird items. We have the full heart and a reward bag. So let's take a look on those 2, like so. So it's called hardcore questing mode, and that's, not only for the questing part, we have the hardcore part as well. So normally, if you die, you're out in hardcore mode. This hardcore mode is a bit different. We can check how many lives we have using HQM lives, and it tells me I have 2 lives left. So if I die once, I'll still have 1 life to go, and if I die then I'm out. So since this is single player, the world will get deleted. If I would be on a server, I would get banned. So pretty much like vanilla hardcore, but you get more lives. But if I have a full heart here, I can consume it. Alright, I haven't HQM hardcore. There you go. There you go. Now it has been activated. And then I can consume it, and there we go. You have added 1 to your total life. You have 3 remaining, like so. And since I'm in creative, I still have it, otherwise it would get consumed. So that's the lives. You can have half a heart like that, and then if you get 2, you can combine into 1, and then you can consume it to get an extra life. Here's a reward bag that I got, and if we take a look at the reward bags, we can see that there's a basic one, a good one, a greater one, an epic one, and a legendary one. And obviously the legendary one is going to give you better loot than the basic one. But all of these have random rewards, so depending on which tier, you're probably going to get better if you have a good one. But if you're unlucky, you might get something very bad in a legendary one and something very good in a basic one. More to that later, because you as a map maker, if you're a map maker, can define what these will drop for you. So now if I consume that, I got a wooden sword, and that's pretty much it. I got a wooden sword with silk touch. I think that's Jaded trolling us as usual. And if I wouldn't be in creative mode, I would have lost it back. Right, so that's pretty much it for the playing part. If you're interested in how to design the quest, just stick around and we'll take a look at that. Right, so this is the config file of the mod, and we have some basic thing, whether you should auto start in hardcore mode. As you saw, I had to enable it before I could consume the heart because I had forgotten to enabling it. Setting this to true will, when you create a new wall, it will automatically enable it for you. To be able to work with the quests, you have to have the quest mode on, and it's automatically being enabled. You can turn that off if you want to. How many lives should we start with? 3. Jaded had changed that, so I actually started with 2. Maximum amount of lives you can have, you can go up all the way to 255 if you want to. The cap is set to 20 by default, but you can change that. When you go into questing mode, this one here, do you want to get a book for free? If so, yeah, that's alright, otherwise set it to false. Worth noting is if you lose your book, it's not the end of the world, just make a new one, because the progress is not saved in the book. Well, it is in some sense, but if you get a new book, you will still see your progress. The progress will still be there. One thing worth noting about this one, you saw the one that I used, /HQM hardcore to enable that. This is /HQM enable, and there's HQM quest, but then you can also do /HQM enable, which will enable both. For more information about the different commands, just do /HQM help and it will show you. But more importantly is this one. That was the one I was looking for. And this is use editor, and if we set that to true, we can start making quests. So this is not something you have enabled when you play, because then it's not going to save your progress properly, and well, a few of the play things won't work properly. But as a map maker, you set this to true, so you can, well, edit quests and make quests and so on. I've already prepared an instance where I have that loaded, and if we go back to the main page here, we can see a difference. Not a big one, but we have two buttons here, a cursor and edit text one. The cursor is just going to act as if we were in play mode, whereas the edit text one allows us to, for instance, add some lore. This is your average lore. Of course, I'm not going to show you when I'm making a proper quest or proper quest line. I'm just going to show you the different things you can do, and then it's up to you to make good quests. So here you go. It's a very simple editor. You can clear everything, just remove it, all the text. You can paste from your clipboard. You can copy all of the text into your clipboard, and you can clear and paste. That's basically going to replace the text with what you have in your clipboard. The reason why it's done like this is because it's quite simple, and if you want to use an external editor for your text editing needs, then you just hit copy all, then you get it all, and then when you're done, well, you paste it into your editor, and then when you're done, copy it all and hit clear and paste, and that's going to replace it back. So that's just a way for you to do that. That editor will be improved in the future. Now it's very basic. Right, so I'll go through further how to replace this image. It pretty much says that already, but I will show you how to do it in the future. And click here to start. There you go. So this is the sets that we saw. And to create a set, you just click there and then create a set. I'm going to create a few like so. Right. So what do we do with these? Well, you can rename them, for instance. Our first set, like that. Hit OK. There you go. So now it's called that. Normally, if a set is locked, you can't click on it, but we're in edit mode, so that's fine. So I'm just going to click there, and we can give it a description. Like that. And then we can get some information about that. We have no quests and so on. So, well, let's open it up, and here's our quest page. No quests, so let's create some. Like that, some quests, and we can move it around if we want to. I'm going to move them like, I don't know, like that. And then we can add some requirements to them. So I'm going to do like that. So now we must complete this one before we can get to that one. And then we can do like that. We can even do like that. So now that one requires both of these two. I'm going to let that one require that one, and that one require that one. If I'm not satisfied with what I have, I can select one and shift click, and it's going to unlink the one I had like that. So it removes all its requirements. Maybe I want it like that instead. There we go. So now if I complete that one, I will unlock those two. If I complete that one, I will unlock that. If I complete that one and that one, I will unlock this one. Right. Right. And then I can go here if I want to have this as a bigger one, just for effect. It's not going to do any difference. It's just going to help you distinguish some special quests from the rest. And then you can click here, change item. This is going to be used in many different locations. One is to select an item, and what I'm going to select is, for instance, a golden chest plate. That's fine. So it got selected there, and then when I hit OK, it's going to be put there. As you might have seen, it was showing the player's inventory. So if I click there, change item, click on that one, we can now see the player's inventory. It's always going to exclude the book. So if you really want the book, in the as an icon, then just search for it instead, because you will always have a book, so it's removed there to not be in the way. Right, so we can just click there to get a gold block right away. It's also useful if you want to select items that you can't find in the creative window. Then grab it through any eye or craft it yourself, and then you just have it there and you can select it just fine. Right, so how do we modify a quest? Well, we just click on it. Like that. So this is your quest. Fairly empty, but still. So rename it my quest. Okay, and the description. Clear some description, and all of these things can be scrolled. So if I add too much description, then we can scroll through a scroll bar that will be added. So no limits there for you. Well, some that you will get to the end eventually. So let's create a task, shall we? So we have the two different tasks, the consume task and the crafting task that we saw earlier. And here we have the two. This one is grayed out because, well, if we weren't in edit mode, it would be invisible. We have to complete this task before we can, well, complete the next task, like so. So click on one like that, and, well, here we have the description how to use it. If we want to, we can, of course, rename that. I'll just leave it like it is. We don't have to. It's a description how to do it. But of course, we can do this. Our first task. Like that. And you can, of course, rename the second one as well. Right. So let's add some items here. Wooden planks. Why not? Right. So, no, let's go with a wooden sword. There we go. So now it means that we have to give it a wooden sword, right? And it has to be exactly the same as the one we submitted here. If we head over to NBT independent detection, that means that, well, it has to be a wooden sword in this shape, but it doesn't really matter if it's enchanted or not. So enchantments and other things, advanced machine information and so on, when you pick them up from modded machines and so on, have extra information in their NBT data, and we don't care about that with the setting. We can also go to fuzzy detection. Now we don't care about the damage value either, so these two pieces of wool wouldn't be a difference, and well, the damage value of the sword wouldn't matter either. And here we have all dictionary detection. So if you have lead from one mod and lead from another mod, and you select one of the leads here, then the player can, well, submit any of those. It doesn't matter. And those are the 4 settings. I'm actually going to go with this red wool. I'm going to say 100, and then I'm going to go to fuzzy detection. So it has to be wool, but we don't care about, well, what color of the wool, basically. So hit OK. So now we need that. We can also actually go and search for water. Now we get the water bucket, the water bottle, and water. So we can select fluids. So I'm going to go for water and select 3000. This means that we need 3 buckets worth of water to be submitted. And since this is a liquid, or well, a fluid, we can't use the manual submit because you can't really have the fluids in your inventory, and therefore you will have to use the quest delivery system and pump it in through any mod that you would like to submit it through. So without any other mods, you wouldn't be able to do that. So if you design a quest for that, well, just force the user to submit buckets like that. That also works. But if you want them to submit a lot of fluids, then it's much better to just go with this. Then you don't need to consume the containers and so on, and people can just pump it in there. Right, so that's pretty much it. Let's head over here, and here we can see the same thing that we had before. But since this have to do with crafting, we can't add fluid. So as you can see, the water thing here is gone. So you can't do that. There you go. You can't really craft a water bucket, so you can't really complete this quest. But if you manage to complete it somehow, then we might want to give the player some rewards. I'm going to give them some a golden apple. There you go. Oh, well, 3 works fine like that. And now we get another box here. So now we can add even more items that the player will get as a reward. So anything we add here, the player will get, basically. So now if you would complete this quest, you could claim the reward and you would get 3 golden apples and a piece of iron ingot. You can also click here to pick one to add some items here. And what I'm going to do is give them the option to get a heart and the option to get a bag. More to these soon, how you create these bags. So there you go. So now the user, we didn't see that in the previous part, but now the user can select, the player can select whether they want a full heart or a reward bag. They will still get the apples and the iron ingot, but then can choose which of these two they want as well when they complete it. Right, we have this delete button here as well, so be careful with this one. It's telling us that everything you click on will disappear, which is true. Just look at this, everything, even sets, like that. So be careful with that one, that's why we have a warning text. Another thing I want to show is this one. So if you want to move quests around between sets, you can do so. One reason would be that you put in the wrong set, but another reason is that you want to have a link between different sets, because by default, a set is going to be unlocked if any quest within it is unlocked, which means that every set would be unlocked by default, because you will always have a quest there being unlocked, unless you use this one. So I'm going to select the second set like so and head into the first one. And now what I'm going to say is, well, let's see, let's put a requirement. Yeah, I'm going. Oops, no, that's not what I wanted. So shift, there you go. Let's do it that direction, like so. So now to do this, we have to complete that one first. So what I'm going to do is now click on change set. So it says click on a quest to move it to another set. Before using this, you will have to use the target set command to select a target set. We've already done that. We'll select the second one. And what I want to do is click there and boom, it's gone. Well, the reason why it's gone is because it was moved in here. I'm just going to deselect that and open this one up like that, and there it is. And it says requires one quest to be completed elsewhere. So this is locked because we haven't met all the requirements, but we can't see any lines here because it's in a different set. If we weren't in edit mode, we wouldn't even be able to open this set here because it's locked. We don't have any quests there enabled. However, if we go here and over here, we can say unlocks one quest elsewhere. We don't get any information about where, or even if that's going to result in that quest being unlocked. Because, well, we can have that one quest requires multiple quests to be completed to get unlocked, like we saw earlier. So it's still going to tell us that. So if we complete this quest, it's going to unlock this one here, which means that we will have an unlocked quest within this set, which means that this set is going to get unlocked. So all of a sudden you can go into there and go on. If you remember when I was playing the Agrarian Skies map, showed you the tutorial there, we had 7 different sets. 3 of which were already unlocked because they by default had an unlocked quest. The other ones, well, to get it done, we will have to complete some quests in other sets. So we can see here how many quests we have completed in different sets, and so on. Right, okay, so let's head to reward bags, and if I click here, we're going to get to the menu here. And I already created a few groups here to show you with. So what I can do is click create here. I create a group or create a tier, but more to that later. So if I have a group here, and I click on that, I can edit it. Right, so I'm going to click change item here, and we get to our familiar menu of modifying items. And well, we can pick some gold, maybe 10 gold blocks. That's a lot of gold. And then yeah, so that's enough. And I want to edit this one, and here we go with a wooden sword, like that. And then I can go back and I can modify this one, and here I'm going to add, let's see, diamond blocks, like I don't know, 5 of them. That's a lot of diamonds as well. So there we go. So I have the gold, the wooden sword, the diamond blocks, and nothing. And for us to be able to tell that better, I can name these as well. So here we have the gold. Here I have the sword. Then here I have diamonds. And it's of course going to tell us that through the items as well, how many things we have here. I'm going to tell nothing, which isn't really required because it's going to say 0 items, so we know that. So I just renamed all of these like that. Right, so when we open a bag, we might want to have different chances of getting different items depending on how rare they are. And I wouldn't so that's not really too good. So I'm going to tell it to be a plain reward. It was that already, so that selection didn't really do anything. Getting nothing is pretty much crap, isn't it? There we go. Gold one, well, that's quite good. Let's give that an uncommon tier, and then if I go to diamonds, that's quite a good one, so I'm going to give it the most advanced tier, which is unique like so. So now I've added 4 groups. All of these things are scrollable as well, so I can add more groups. Basically what's going to happen now is when I open a bag, for instance the basic bag, that's the one with the lowest tier, it's going to go and check what items we have, what item groups we have, and well, it's going to see, well, we have one uncommon, and since I'm the basic bag, I'm going to use the first column here. Look at it's gray as the basic one is. And it's going to sum all of these up. So we have one nothing, well, one crap one, that's 50. We have one blue one, that's 5, so that's 55 in total. We have one plain one, 105 in total, and then a unique one, so 106 in total. So that's how many tickets it's going to get, or that's the weight of it if you so want. And it's going to randomize a ticket through 1 to 106, and it's going to, basically give you one of the groups depending on the random number. So the chance of getting the crap one is 50 in 106. The plain one is also 50 in 106. The uncommon one is just 5 out of 106, whereas the unique one is just 1 in 106. So that one is very rare to get. Of course, this is going to depend on exactly what we have here, what types of groups you've created for the bags to use. However, if we would use a legendary bag, which is this row here, we would have a different chance of getting them. We have a crap one that we can't even get that one, that's 0. This unique one, that's 30 all of a sudden. We have the plain one, which is 10, so that's a 40 in total. And then we have that one, so we have 65 in total. And we can't get the crap one, we can't get nothing here. We have a 30 in 65 chance of getting it, so that's almost a 50% chance of getting it with these specific sets. And then the wooden sword here, we don't have that high chance of getting that. That's just a 10 in 65, and the gold one here is 25 in 65. So as you can see, depending on the type of bag you have, you get different chance of getting good loot. I mean, in the basic bag, you can still get these 5 blocks of diamonds, but it's not going to be that likely because it's such a low chance. Here it's almost a 50% chance with these specific items, that is. And of course, if we have multiple items here, when it chooses a group for you, that means you're going to get all the items in there. So we could do here I could add, well, we're quite nice, aren't we? So you get a wooden hoe and a wooden sword like that. Then you would get both if that groups were chosen. And if you want to, we can of course create another group that is also using the plain thing here, where we're going to have a leather tunic like that. So now the chances would change because now we have another plain one here. So now if we got a legendary bag, then we would have 75 in total instead. So now we would have 1375 to get the diamonds one. We would have 10 in 75 to get the wooden sword, but we would also have 10 in 75 to get a tunic. So depending on the groups you've specified, you're going to have a different chance depending on these weights or the ticket amount, if you so wish, to get these. However, it doesn't really end there. You can rename these without a problem. So maybe I want to rename this troll instead. So if you want to troll the player, oh right, you got a reward bag, but there was nothing in it. Oh, you got a reward bag, you got some rotten flesh in it. So these are the weights I want for the troll one. Of course, we might want to have even more ones. Then, well, let's create things here, and I want to create a tier. And maybe I want this one to be only legendary. So I only want this to be able in legendary bags. then, well, I can specify that. So let's give this the, I don't know, the pink one. And I'm only just going to leave all of these at 0 because I don't want it to be available in the basic bag, nor the good bag, nor the greater bag, nor the epic bag, but in the legendary bag. And, well, how common? Well, let's have 20, for instance. So you can design your own ones, or if you want to, you can even change these ones if they don't fit what you want to. So the ones you had in the beginning were only like some examples of what you could have. You can just change them or even remove them if you want to. Remove the groups as well, and then when you use the bags, you will get things depending on the how good the bag is. If it's a basic, a good one, a greater one, an epic one, or a legendary one, and then you will randomize get the thing, and the bag will be removed. You can't craft the bags. You can't craft your hearts, but as a map maker, you can add them as rewards, or you can add them as well, drops if you have a mod that allows you to do that, or give them in chests or whatever. Where the book and the quest delivery system can be crafted. Just check up those recipes in NEI if you want to craft them. But of course, you can also set in the config that you want the book to be that you should receive it for free. And the QS you can give in a quest reward if you want to. So we're almost done there, but we have a few things left, and those are the front screen here and the sounds, and a bit about the saving. So when you're done, you might want to hit save all. When you do so, it's going to save. Otherwise, everything you've done is not going to be stored, which is a bit unfortunate. So remember to click there once in a while, and what we can see if we open up, that's actually the wrong one. That's the recordings I'm doing right now, actually. But here we go. Here's my jars folder. Don't bother where that is located. But when you play, you have a jars folder, and inside there you have a config folder. That's this one with the various different configuration files. And if you go into HQM folder in there, you can find some different things. We have some backups and pre-crash files that basically helps you if you lose something. Here we have the config file that I showed earlier, this one over here. So that's that one. But then we have this one, quest.hqm, and that's the file that is generated when we hit save all over there. So that's an important one. And then we have this lore.ogg. That's the reading file. So this is the file where Sacheverell is reading the lore for the Agrarian Skies map, basically. So obviously that's not what you're going to use if you want to make a different map. So therefore you put your own lore there, lore.ogg in your HQM, well, config HQM folder right next to quest.hqm, like so. And also, if you want to change this front texture here, you basically put a texture here as well called front.png, and then you just put it there and it's going to load that instead of the default one. If we want to, we can take a look on how the default one looks like. It's going to say, well, the icon HQM, put your own logo at config/hqm/front.png, so it explains that there. This logo can be found together with the assets of the mod. So that's what's being shown here. And if you want this texture here, if you want to use that as a base, then like it says, just find it in the assets folder of the mod, and you can do whatever you want with it. Put the textures within the green border, and that's what's going to be shown. So basically what you will have in the end as a map maker are three different files. You would have the quests.hqm, you would have the lore.ogg, that's an optional one, and then you will have the front.png, which is also optional, but without it it's going to say this thing here, so I wouldn't say that it would be optional. But if you don't have the sound file, it's not going to matter, it's just not going to play anything, and the play again button is not going to be there, so that's fine. So three files: the actual quests, the audio file of the lore, and then the front page, basically the way you put your logo or whatever. And if you make sure that the player playing your map is getting those and putting those in the config folder, then they will be able to play your map with the quests, the front page, and lore. And that's pretty much it. So as you can see, this is not a mod that you can just install and run right away, but you need some quests for it. I would recommend, if you want to see a lot of good quests, you can go and check Agrarian Skies, because we have worked closely with Jaded when we have made this mod, so the mod and that map with the quest have progressed side by side, so there are plenty of good things there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you have fun making quests and playing quests, and that's about it. Goodbye.